The largest of all the continents, Asia was once known as the mysterious East. Today, Asia opens up to you like a fresh bouquet of assorted flowers, each region vibrant, colorful, and inspiring with distinct historical and natural landscapes. On Tuesday, January 30th, 2007, we left New York. We crossed the international date line. On Thursday, February 1st, we arrive in what appears to be an ancient and living world, Chiang Mai, Thailand, where life remains much as it was hundreds of years ago. In the western section of the old city stands Chiang Mai's principal monastery, Wat Phra Singh. The beautifully decorated Wat contains the Phra Singh Buddha with a serene and benevolent expression that is enhanced by the light filtering in through the tall windows. We then walk the grounds of this magnificent monastery. If you are able to pour holy water on a monastery spire, it will bring you good luck. We then leave Wat Phra Singh. In 1411, the king orders his workers to build a shaddai as high as the dove could fly. He died before the structure was finished, as did the next king. During the reign of the following king, an earthquake knocked down about a third of the 282-foot spire. Wat Shaddai Luang is now a superb ruin. We tuk-tuk through the ancient city. Wat Chang Man is the city's oldest monastery, dating from 1296. The old part of the city is bounded by remains of the original city wall and moat. After touring the ancient city, we visit an umbrella factory. This morning, we meet our tour guide for our personal all-day tour in northern Thailand. We first visit an elephant training camp north of Chiang Mai City. This camp is located in the country's ruggedest and most beautiful mountain. As the national animal of Thailand, the elephant has always been an integral part of Chiang Mai culture. Easily tamed, elephants were key in transporting both people and goods, and were used extensively in the teak industry. Though the elephant no longer appears on the national flag as it did when Thailand was Siam, it's still a central figure in the history and culture of this region. After an enjoyable elephant trek through the forest on elephant back, we travel back to base camp by ox cart. The big fellows certainly like the dip they take in the river prior to their show. They evidently enjoy the routines they perform for the tourists. The show provides a demonstration of the skill, intelligence, good humor, and strength of the working elephant. The elephant is the planet's biggest land mammal, a nationwide action to rescue the urban elephant and resettle them usefully in the country, mostly northern Thailand, is gathering pace. These elephants actually pay for their keep by working at training camps. After lunch, we enjoy a gentle float trip down the tranquil and lovely Ping River on a bamboo raft. Northern Thailand is a relatively cool, mountainous region at the foothills of the Himalayas. One of the main attractions in northern Thailand is meeting with hill tribe people. Half of Thailand's hill tribe people are Karen, who mostly inhabit the mountainous northern and northwestern regions bordering Burma. They're not only the most numerous hill tribe people, but also the most interesting. The long-necked Karen women receive most of the attention. Many hill tribe people claim they are victims of official discrimination, and it's indeed difficult for the majority to win full Thai citizenship because so many originate from beyond Thailand's borders. We visit an orchid farm to admire the superb blooms that are northern Thailand's specialty. Perched on top of 3,542-foot Doi Suthep, we start our day by visiting Wat Doi Suthep. This is one of northern Thailand's biggest attractions. We now must climb 304 steps to reach the temple. One might wonder, why was a temple built in such an out-of-the-way place and especially on top of a mountain? As in so many chapters of Thai history, an elephant is closely involved in the foundation of Wat Doi Suthep, northern Thailand's most revered temple, and one of only a few enjoying royal patronage. An elephant was dispatched from Chiang Mai carrying religious relics from another Wat. Instead of wandering off into the open countryside, it stubbornly climbed up the mountain Doi Suthep. When it finally came to rest, and after turning in a pattern of circles given symbolic significance by the party accompanying it, the decision was made to establish a temple on that site that would contain the relics. Constructing the temple was quite a feat. At the time, there was no paved road to the temple. Workers and pilgrims had to make their way through thick jungle, besides climbing to the peak of the mountain. Over the centuries, the temple compound grew into the glittering assembly of shaddais, bats, varans, and fresco cloisters you see today. By 1935, a paved road led to the temple. Today, Wat Doi Suthep is a breathtaking gold-spired temple with a vast terrace which commands a breathtaking view of Chiang Mai. Night markets are very popular throughout Asia. On our last evening in northern Thailand, we visit the market. Today, we flew to the capital city of Thailand, Bangkok, Salom Road, downtown Bangkok. Every Monday, most Thai people wear yellow to show their love for their king. We hire a long-tail boat to take us to Old Bangkok. On our way to the old section of the city, we will travel through the city's canals and locks. Bangkok used to be known as the Venice of the East, but many of the klongs or canals that once distinguished this area have been paved over. Several canals remain, and traveling along these waterways is one of the delights of Bangkok. After traveling the canals and locks, we enter the Chao Phraya River and dock in Old Bangkok. Welcome to Old Bangkok. Wat Po, one of the oldest and largest temples. The temple was built 200 years ago to provide public education on literature, archaeology, astrology, and medicine. The headquarters for the traditional medicine practitioners of Bangkok is situated at the temple. The city's largest Wat has what is perhaps the most unusual representation of the Buddha in Bangkok. The 150-foot sculpture, covered with gold, is so large it fills an entire vine. We now tuk-tuk to the Happy and Lucky Buddha. At the Happy Buddha, people pray and give offerings of essentials to a monk. When tuk-tucking around town, it's also wise to visit the Lucky Buddha. No, the reclining Buddha did not stand up. We are at a different Wat. Bangkok is known for Buddhist temples and food. Thais always seem to be eating, so the smells of Thailand surround you wherever you travel in Bangkok. Besides SkyTrain, subway, bus, taxis, and tuk-tuks, the city also has ferry service along the Chao Phraya River. Behind high fortress walls, which occupies an area of about 1 square mile, one of the most visited attractions in all of Thailand is the Grand Palace. A complex of many buildings dating from 1782 to the late 19th century also includes Wat Phra Keo. The Grand Palace was built as the residence for kings, but today is used for royal ceremonies and state occasions. To see the golden temples is to know that majesty exists. The monarchy's long history in Thailand and its Buddhist ancestry is reflected in resplendent architecture, golden temples, jeweled sculptures, and heaven-bound spires. We now enter the area of Wat Phra Keo, Temple of the Emerald Buddha. No single area within the Grand Palace elicits such awe as this, the most sacred temple in the kingdom. No other Wat in Thailand is so ornate or so embellished with glittering gold. 20-foot-tall statues of fearsome creatures in traditional battle attire stand guard. They set the scene. Mystical, majestic, and awesome. We then leave the grounds of the Grand Palace and walk to the ferry terminal. We cross the Chao Phraya River to visit Wat Arun. Wat Arun, Temple of Dawn. The temple's design is symmetrical, with a square courtyard containing 5 Kuma-style prangs. The central prang reaches 282 feet. All 5 are covered in mosaics made from broken pieces of Chinese porcelain. We then take a ferry back to the other side of the river. Bangkok's Chinatown is the most congested and polluted part of the city. It feels like every motorized vehicle and the city's entire population of over 12 million people are all here today. Today, we leave the heat, noise, and pollution of Bangkok. As we travel along the coast of the Gulf of Thailand, we pass salt flats. We then travel 65 miles southwest of Bangkok to visit a true icon of Thailand, the floating market. This may be the only opportunity to catch a glimpse of a fading Thai tradition. 20 years ago, many communities had floating markets. But with new roads replacing the need for canal commerce, this is one of the only ones left. A catch of a glimpse of yesteryear. It's still possible to buy breakfast from women in straw hats paddling boats laden with fruit or steaming stir-fried pans. The best way to enjoy the market is to hire a boat. Busy, exotic, and colorful would be the best way to describe this experience. In the town of Kanchanaburi, we visit the cemetery of Allied soldiers who perished during the construction of the notorious Death Railway during the Second World War. The Japanese, who had occupied Thailand, forced 16,000 prisoners of war and 50,000 to 100,000 civilian slave laborers from neighboring countries to construct a railway and bridge over a river, a supply route through the jungles of Burma and Thailand. This railway bridge has no real official name, even though it is one of the most famous river crossings in the world. We walk the bridge on the River Kwai. Immortalized in books and movies, today for us in real life.
Welcome to Bangkok, Thailand. I hope you enjoy your stay here and hope you come back again. Have a nice time.
We are about to enter a country that until recently was an armed camp closed to foreign visitors. On Monday, February 12th, we enter a new Cambodia, one that is healing, following years of war, the chaos and genocide of Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge, and a long period of civil and political instability. Though this is a process that will take years, the country is enjoying a period of relative stability under a coalition government. Siem Reap is not just any small provincial town. It is the gateway to what brings so many people to this Buddhist land of smiles, one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Angkor Ruins, the temple complex at Angkor Wat. The Khmer Empire reached the zenith of its power influence, and creativity from the 9th to the 13th century, when the Angkor region, the seat of the Kumar kings, was one of the largest capitals in Southeast Asia. Starting in the 15th century, the temples of Angkor's heyday was abandoned and forgotten by the world until their rediscovery in the early 1860s. In all, there are some 300 monuments reflecting Hindu and Buddhist influence scattered throughout the jungle, but only the largest have been excavated and reconstructed. At Temple Te Pram, one of the major temples in the complex, and Temple Ban Tie Kidai, which in some respects appears to be a smaller version of Te Pram, trees have grown and interwound among the ruins, making for an atmosphere. The most impressive and best preserved of the Kumar temples is the one that gave the whole complex its name, Angkor Wat, the beautiful apotheosis of Kumar architecture and the world's largest religious monument. Angkor Wat was not only the grandest of all the Kumar temples, but also a city in its own right. It was built during the first half of the 12th century, both as the capital and the state temple dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, making sure that its dimensions were suitably grand for the divine patron. The dimensions are staggering. The temple compound covers an area of 4,920 feet by 4,265 feet, with a surrounding moat of 590 feet wide. Like all the other major monuments at Angkor, the 215-foot-high complex represents the Hindu-Buddhist universe. The central shrine represents Mount Meru, the mythical home of the Hindu gods. The moats represent the 7 oceans that surround Mount Meru. The 3-tiered central pyramid itself rises in 4 concentric enclosures opening to the west, with terraces decorated with images of Hindu deities, many of which have lost their heads to looters. 3 of the towers appear in the central emblem of the Cambodian flag, signifying the triple motto of nation, religion, and king. Angkor Thom, like Angkor Wat, was also a city in its own right, the last of the Kumar capitals built in the late 12th century. More than 1 million people lived within its walls, and it was the richest city in Southeast Asia. At its geographic center stands the 12th century Bayon, a large, ornate Buddhist structure that rises into 54 small towers, most of which are topped with huge, strangely smiling faces. The Siamese destroyed the city in 1432, and it became an insignificant ghost town. We now pass the 11th century temple Bap Thuan. The Elephant Terrace and the Terrace of the Leper King was built at the end of the 12th century. At the north end of the Elephant Terrace is the Terrace of the Leper King, named after a stone statue found here and identified as the Hindu god Yama. In Hindu mythology, Yama presides as a jungle over hell. Starting in 1975 and lasting for a period of 3 years, 8 months and 20 days, a regime of terror led by Pol Pot and inspired by Mao Zedong emerged. 35% of the population of Cambodia were tortured and executed. We visit one of the killing fields. Sunrise and sunset at Angkor Wat are sights to remember. Sunrise starts with a rosy dawn. The towers of Angkor Wat reflect in the basin just before sunrise. And of course, sunrise at Angkor Wat. We travel 7.5 miles south of Siam Reap and bought a boat to visit a floating settlement of fish folks and the Tonle Sap, the biggest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. The lake's annual cycle of flood expansion and retreat dictates Cambodia's rice production and supplies of fish. The cycle is so extreme that during the rainy season, the lake grows to 4 times its dry season expanse and depth. The lake also has the greatest diversity of freshwater fish in the world. After we have completed our Tonle Sap or Great Lake boat cruise, we pass several lowland villages. We stop and visit one. The main and only industry in this area is fishing. When you enter the village, it feels like you have traveled back in time. It appears that very little have changed in these villages in the last 100 years. Even though the people have very little, these are considered good times for the people of Cambodia. This afternoon, we return to the Angkor Wat complex for the last time to view some of the minor but elegant temples and monasteries in this magnificent complex. One could only wonder at what type of race created such massive structures. Researchers didn't seem to think that present-day Cambodians could have done it. But subsequent intensive international research soon revealed that Angkor had been the capital of a mighty Kumar empire for more than 3 centuries. Research also revealed that Angkor was the scene of one of the world's greatest feats of irrigation technology. When one walks the ruins at Angkor, it's hard to believe that this was an active civilization hundreds of years ago. The last temple we will visit is Pre Rup, the center of a one-time royal city. Crowds of tourists from around the world gather here every evening to watch the sunset over Angkor. The sun will set over Angkor, but our memories of our visit to Cambodia and Angkor Wat will never fade. April 25th, 1975. Tanks smashed down these gates. A then divided country becomes one. After a late evening flight on Thursday, February 15th, on Friday morning, we begin our tour of Saigon, the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. We start our tour of Saigon by first visiting the Reunification Palace. This modern palace was the symbolic center of the South Vietnamese government. Today, this 1960s architecture building is actively used by the Vietnamese government. On days that it is not in use like today, tourists are permitted to view the rooms and grounds of the palace. Your communist tour guide is quick to tell you about the dramatic seizure that took place here. We are then taken to the War Remnant Museum. The museum is dedicated to publicizing the horrors perpetrated by U.S. armed forces during the Vietnam War, although the museum has toned down slightly by changing its name from the Museum of American War Crimes to the War Crimes Museum, and finally to the War Remnant Museum. Its contents have not changed. There is no mention of the division of the country into South Vietnam and North Vietnam throughout the Vietnam War. The communist government tends to overlook this division. Instead, it claims a puppet government backed by American imperialists illegally ruled in the South against the will of the people. Vietnam is now a country on the move. The introduction of economic reforms known as Doi Moi in the mid-1980s acted as a catalyst, releasing the energies of the nation left behind after decades of war and isolation. Now in Vietnam, you see people on the go. This evening is New Year's Eve. They celebrate the Tet New Year. We pass a park filled with flower stalls. Flowers are a big part of their celebration. The Rex Hotel stands as a monument to Saigon's recent history. The hotel became a base for American operations during the Vietnam War, with daily press briefings to journalists. Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon to most, is a vibrant, bustling city that reflects Vietnam's past and its future. Its broad colonial boulevards leading to the Saigon River are remnants of the French colonial presence. The city's Chinatown is a reminder of the Chinese influence on the country, and the office towers and international hotels that mark the skyline symbolize tomorrow's Vietnam. This evening, out with the year of the dog and in with the year of the pig, and the city will do it with style. The city's French-built Notre Dame Cathedral. In the 1920s, the French also built this modernist post office building. The Ang Ban Pagoda is where people bring fake paper money to burn in the pagoda, hoping the year ahead will bring financial rewards to their families. It's New Year's Eve in Saigon. An experience we will never forget. We now board a party boat to welcome in the new year on the Saigon River. It's 12 midnight in Saigon. On New Year's Day, we visit the waterways of the Mekong Delta. Early Sunday morning, February 18th, we arrive in Vietnam's central coast city of Hue. Seeking to secure his empire, Emperor Gai Long built this almost 1.5 square mile citadel with a 65-foot moat in the heart of Hue in 1805. The citadel was initially built of earth and later reinforced by 6-foot thick brick walls and fortified by 10 gates. Enclosed in the structure is the Imperial City, where official government activity once took place, and the Forbidden Purple City, which was the private sanctuary of the emperors and their families. The Forbidden Purple City, which is inside the Imperial City, was almost entirely destroyed during the Vietnam War. Much of the Imperial City was also reduced to rubble. However, many sections still exist. Once Vietnam's Imperial City, Hue, bisected by the Perfume River, today we board a private boat for a trip down the Perfume River to visit Vietnam's imperial past. We first visit the Thien Mu Pagoda. This Buddhist temple is one of Hue's most famous monuments. It sits on a peaceful spot overlooking the Perfume River. The temple is still a training center for monks. It takes more than a boat to visit the tomb of Minh Mang, a Hue classic. His tomb is one of the most palatial, with numerous pavilions and courtyards in a beautiful pine forest. The burial site is modeled after the Ming tombs in Beijing. Sculptures of mandarins, elephants, and lions line the route to the burial site. Minh Mang's tomb is the most majestic of the royal tombs. He ruled from 1820 to 1840. The tomb was planned during Minh Mang's lifetime. We pass rice paddies on the way back to the boat. The tomb of Tu Duce is one of Hue's most visited tombs. The tomb has its own lake and pine forest. Built in 1867 by thousands of laborers, it was once the second residence of Tu Duce, emperor from 1829 to 1883. Despite having more than 100 wives and numerous concubines, Tu Duce somehow found the time to escape here to relax and write poetry. One of his favorite spots was the pavilion on the pond, filled with lotus blossoms. Historically, Hue has been the heartbeat of Vietnam, a center of political intrigue, cultural innovations, religious worship, and educational excellence. Today, its main attractions are the splendid tombs of the Nguyen emperors, several notable pagodas, and the remains of the citadel. Our visit to Hue has been very interesting and enjoyable. Today, we travel past rice fields. We then journey over the Huai Vang Pass, which is a mountainous stretch with spectacular views. We then stop for lunch in Da Nang and view the beaches on the China Sea as we approach the charming, historic city of Huan. Perhaps the most delightful of all Vietnamese cities, enchanting riverside Huan defies modernization. Like all other cities in Vietnam, it too has a central market. Preserved in pristine condition are its 18th century houses, pagodas, and assembly halls, the many galleries selling the works of local artists and artisans, and the numerous cafes give the town a strong bohemian feel. Huan was not destroyed during the Vietnam War, and today the old town combines Vietnamese, Japanese, and Chinese architectural style. With ancient structures on almost every corner, it's the perfect place for a leisurely stroll. The large Vietnamese cities may give you a taste of contemporary Vietnam and its recent history. Hue and Huan, with their UNESCO World Heritage Sites, puts you in a seemingly mythical Vietnam of centuries past. The capital of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam and the self-appointed capital of Vietnamese culture. Early this morning we arrive in Hanoi. The Old Quarter, also called the 36 Streets, has been operating as a commercial district for over 1,000 years and is an especially unique place. No visit to Hanoi is complete without a wander through the maze of streets, each dedicated to a specific trade or product. Exploring this area is fascinating with its narrow alleys, bustling markets, pagodas, theaters, and restaurants. From early morning, it is a hive of activity and a great introduction to Hanoian life and culture. Motorbike traffic in this section of the city is beyond crazy. The 1,000-year-old art of water puppetry is unique to northern Vietnam and easily ranks as one of Southeast Asia's most beautiful and complex form of art. Hanoi Opera House, one of the grandest buildings in the city. We decided not to stay at the Hilton in Hanoi.
No checkout here, madam.
At least in Vietnam, we're all millionaires.
Temple of Literature, built in 1070, is dedicated to the worship of Confucius. It then became Vietnam's first national university. Students come here and pray to Confucius so they will maintain good grades. As we walk the causeway that divides West Lake from the smaller Thruc Bach Lake, we pass a small monument. It marks the spot where Navy Lieutenant Commander John McCain's jet fighter was shot down. Tiananmen Square in Beijing, Red Square in Moscow, in Hanoi, it's Ba Dinh Square, in the center of which flutters Hanoi's largest Vietnamese flag. On the west side of the square is the main focus of the square, the mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh. You could almost hear the echo of Ho Chi Minh's voice ringing out over loudspeakers to the 500,000 northern Vietnamese who gathered to hear Uncle Ho's Declaration of Independence on September 2nd, 1945. Also on September 2nd in 1969, another 100,000 Hanoians gathered here to pay homage to their late president. Across the square from the mausoleum is the headquarters of the Communist Party, the Presidential Palace. A monument to Vietnam's revolutionary martyrs.
Welcome to Vietnam. Hope you enjoy your visit to Vietnam.
The one-pillar pagoda is meant to represent the stalk of the lotus flower. As we walk the tree-lined boulevards of Hanoi's French district, we pass what is left of the Hoe Lo prison, or the infamous Hanoi Hilton, the prison that once housed captured American servicemen. Today, we leave the noise and chaos of Hanoi. We take a day trip to Ha Long Bay. Ha Long Bay lies 109 miles east of Vietnam's northern capital city. Northern Vietnam's stark beauty lies in its mist-shrouded islets and mountains. Fishing boats ply the magnificent waters of Ha Long Bay. We stop to visit 1,000,000-year-old stalagmite caves. This area is listed as a World Heritage Site of outstanding natural beauty. We pass floating villages of the fishermen. Halong Bay's 3,000 islands extend across the Gulf of Tonkin, nearly to the Chinese border. According to legend, this breathtaking land and seascape was formed by a giant dragon that came barreling out of the mountains towards the ocean. The name Halong translates into descent of the dragon. Geologists are more likely to attribute the formation to sedimentary limestone that formed here between 300 to 500 million years ago. This area is one of the most scenic areas not only of Vietnam, but of all Southeast Asia. Over the past month, we traveled to 3 countries in Southeast Asia. In Thailand, we visited ancient cities and stunning temples. We climbed the back of a sturdy elephant and met the long-necked women of the hill tribes before experiencing the sights, sounds, and smells of bustling Bangkok. In Cambodia, we stood in awe before the astounding Angkor complex, a lost civilization, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Vietnam is a country, not a war. Despite its turbulent history, in the decades since the country opened its doors to visitors, it has built world-class hotels with both international standards and traditional hospitality. We celebrated New Year's Eve in Saigon, an experience we will never forget. Hue and Huan, both with their UNESCO World Heritage Sites, places you in a Vietnam of centuries past. Hanoi is the stronghold of Vietnam today, a city rapidly modernizing. Our trip to Southeast Asia let us see what life is really like behind the bamboo curtain. On Friday, March 2nd, 2007, we leave Vietnam.